Hi everyone, here is Robin Good, live from Rome, Italy, recorded for most of you who are watching this interview, but still live at this very second, and bridging the oceans across the world for, 12 hours time zone difference, Robert? How much do we have?
Well, I think it's 11, but yeah, 12 to 11. Who wants to argue between friends?
No. I just don't know. But in any case, my friend here next to me is Robert Anthony. We've become friends over the course of the last 48, 72 hours because we tried to make our setups work together. We weren't the luckiest pair this time. And so we've become friends in the process of doing it. But let me introduce officially to you Robert Anthony, who I've invited here today from Australia because he's the producer, director of a new independent movie. Robert, would you like to introduce yourself? What is the topic and what kind of movie you have produced recently?
Well, the movie's called The Wheel of Life, What If? And it asked the question to people about what we would do with our lives if we had a better opportunity.
So, if I understand correctly, and I did watch quite a bit of the movie, which is a full-length feature of about 120 minutes, correct?
That's right, yes.
The movie really covers all the components of life that in one way or another we forget about, we do not give enough fuel as other parts of our life, and so get out of balance. And what Robert has done, he has gone out to reach people who are some kind of real scholars in different parts of life, people who have kept asking good questions about why things are one way and not another, and have come up with solutions that have helped many people. People who have written books, people who are helping other people, very unique people. I don't like to use the word expert because too many times this word is associated with people who get just some kind of certification from an institution, and we have just too many of them who need to prove in the field that they're good, not because they've got some certification from somewhere or because their father was doing something great and now they're just taking over. And Robert has gone out not for those typical experts, but for people that I think that really have garnished on the field something special. Do you agree with this view, Robert, or you think it's too radical?
No, I agree entirely. Actually, most of the people come from the School of Hard Knocks before they got their qualifications. They were people that had been out there and done all the things that they're talking about, and they then went and got their qualifications. So what we found was that in 8 areas of people's lives, we had some of the best people around to offer the advice, not only because they'd done it, but because they then went and got their qualifications. Now they can talk from authority. And that's what we found the best part of it doing, was that they just love it passionately and they want to help people. So, Robin, yeah, you're right. They were from all walks of life and they just, I can't explain it because it was just so exciting.
So, to make the story
very well.
more digestible for everyone who's watching, Robert, do you want to share how this thing started up? I mean, how did it come to you to do a movie, and why did you want to do it on this very topic of improving one's own life?
Well, it started off really because of what I was noticing in my work as a management consultant, how people had low self-esteem and they just didn't appreciate themselves. So I started looking into things and I came across an ancient philosophy called the Wheel of Life. And when we started looking into the Wheel of Life, we found that it was a tool that had been left around for nearly 3,000 years and we just didn't use it properly anymore. And so what I started to look for was a way to get the message out to people that they could actually use it, and that by using it they could get their lives back into balance. We didn't want it to be something really fancy that people paid a lot of money for. We want to make this available to the world. So we looked for the simplest way to get it out, and it turned out to be a DVD. And then we didn't want to charge a really lot of money for it, like some other DVDs that have come out recently, and I won't name them, but they left people without the tools to improve their lives. We believe that this vehicle gives everybody the exact tools to do it. It's a simple daily exercise that they can do, and there's more of the journey to come for those that want to get more involved. But just by looking at this one simple tool, people can make a radical difference with their lives as they find it today.
Good. Tell me now, how much time did it take for you and the people who've helped you to make this project become a reality? Right now, people can come to your site, and you want to remember us, the URL is wheeloflife.tv, correct?
That's right, yes. Yep.
And to get this Wheel of Life out there on the site and ready for purchase on DVD, how much time did you have to spend from the time you got your first inspiration?
Well, it took me about 8 years in total, and then once we started making it, we had to bury a few of the original takes and productions, because it just wasn't right, and it took another year to get it right, because it's so important that we reach out to people in the right way. We didn't want people believing that they had to have a mindset. What we found in all the research that we did for this was that everybody knows. As one of the gentlemen on there says, you put somebody in front of a hamburger with French fries and you put a chicken salad beside them, people know what the better thing is to eat. But because of cravings and other things that happen in our lives, oftentimes we pick the bad things to eat. So what the Wheel of Life was about was telling people that inside you know what to do, but you don't always have a friend there to help you. So we brought this out to be their friend, to help them along, give them something to go back to so that they could get the inspiration, so that they felt better about themselves when they achieved a target, a milestone, to let people know that you're not alone when you make resolutions and you fall over, that we all make New Year's resolutions, and how many of us keep them? So what is it about our behaviour and about the support systems that we need to actually make those things a reality? And that's what we set out to do, was to show people that they could actually do something if they really wanted to, and that we believed in them.
Good.
So in answer to your question, 8 years and then a very hard 12 months.
Good. And how many people did you have to get involved, and where did you find these people to produce a movie, since you weren't a movie producer or director before? How did you get the whole resources together? Where did you find them?
Well, it began in Melbourne, Australia, when we first started looking at how the original idea was to go into corporations and tell corporations that they were undervaluing their main asset, and that was their staff. We had about 5 experts that came along that were mostly trainers and neuro-linguistic programmers, a couple of psychologists. But then when we realised that this thing was a lot bigger, I hate to use the terminology, but the universe provided them. We had people that came from all over Australia. We had people from Singapore, London, America, New Zealand, and what we found was that they were all experts who were interested in being there for other people and helping them with their life processes. Don Tolman, for instance, he's an American nutritionist, and it took me 14 months to track him down, and it was just the perseverance too. So it was a combination of perseverance and the universe providing.
That's a great story, and that tells a lot of people how much really you have to insist on something, even though things are not going the right way. Robert has been there, if we heard correctly, 8 years at this project. It has produced a first release. He didn't like it. He didn't think it was good and went on and shot again, re-edited, and maybe even a third time. But he didn't give up on really what he wanted to achieve, and that's what I think is also so great about this story. Not just what's inside the DVD, which I think it can be very valuable to many people, but especially the story behind it, which is always what I'm looking for. So my next question, Robert, is people would ask immediately, how much money did you spend on this, and did you get venture capital to do it? I mean, how was your approach to finance this such a long and complex project?
Well, we used all of our family savings. In total, it's cost us nearly $1 million. Probably by the time we finish up, when we add up my time, it's something like about $2.5 million. But in the end, it was just the passion to get the project out there. Venture capitalists thought I was crazy. I had one gentleman that told me I was trying to climb a mountain higher than Everest, and I gave him the story of a gentleman that had climbed it from New Zealand who didn't have any legs. So Mount Everest can't be that tall, can it? So somebody from look, I think we create the barriers that stop us from doing things. And in the end, we were so determined to get this out, and I had the support of my wife and my family. We were so determined to get it out that nothing would stop us. And then we found that people were of the same mindset, came along, and they lent us their savings. So it's been a very family-orientated project that's cost a lot of time, a lot of money, but I think it's going to be very worthwhile. I believe that the world is going to get the benefit from it. I believe that people of the world will realise that they're better within themselves once they start to see how simple it is to change the processes, the way they feel about themselves, the way they talk about themselves.
One critical question would then be, how are you going to measure? And given 6 months or a year from now, what criteria are you going to use to say, this was a successful project and I'm very proud and happy of it?
I suppose if we're able to refund the money that's been lent to us to get this out there. Also, I get a little bit embarrassed now because we do want to do a lot of philanthropic work. We see that whilst that there is a lot to be gained out of this, that there's a lot of work that can be done to help people who want to live differently. We want to set up some nutrition kitchens. We want to set up some environmental causes. We've made contact with some Indigenous groups. So in 6 months' time, Robin, I would like to see it be the #1 DVD in the world. I would like then to move on to the other projects that we have planned, like we've got a similar series planned to go into schools for children because we see the need there. Just the way children perceive and talk about themselves. We don't like the fact that they do it in a way that they put themselves down. That little voice in the back of our head that we all have that automatically says, I'm not good enough. We want to teach people how to make that voice say, I am good enough and I am better. And if we can do that with children, imagine how powerful it can be. You know, we can get rid of all the, maybe not get rid of, but we can reduce the amount of hatred that goes on in the world. Like we've only got to look at the Middle East and all the sad things that go on there. And it's adults teaching children how to hate. Now, if we can do something about that at a very early age, the world will be a better place for it. And they're the dreams and the aspirations that we have with this project, that the DVD is the first part of a bigger thing. and that as the DVD sells, then we can get involved in all of these other things, and we can use the proceeds from the DVD to push those things forward. If you do manage to buy it or see it, the other thing you'll notice is that on the DVD we have some Indigenous leaders, and the reason that we've got them there is because we deliberately sought them out because of the fact that they understand the lands that they inhabit, whereas I think too many Europeans have forgotten their ties to the land, and we're trying to rekindle some of that spirit too. So it's a number of ventures rolled into one, and it really is there for humanity. It's not there for any one person. I think that the power of the internet and people such as yourself are showing us that there's no barriers anymore. We're all one, and it's about time we realised it, and that's what the DVD is endeavouring to do.
Thank you, Robert. That's fantastic. And this was my brief introduction to the work of Robert Anthony, who's the producer and director of a very unique movie called The Wheel of Life. You can find out more by going to wheeloflife.tv right now on the web. And Robert will be very happy to get your feedback, comments, suggestions on anything. As myself, we are all trying to make the place where we live a better one for everyone. So thank you, Robert, for sharing your time today, and look forward to see you reach that, I don't know how many million sales you said, the most sold DVD on the internet. I gave you my strategy yesterday.
Yep.
And I will add it up actually to this interview so that you'll see what you want to do with it. But best of luck to you, and congratulations for putting together such a great project.
Beautiful, Robin. You stay in touch because I'm going to stay in touch with you.
All right.
Okay, you have a lovely day.
You too. Ciao.